Coach asked Matt this. What did Markel Winters and Charles Wiley bring to the table that may have been lacking, and how can you use them moving forward?
Well, I'll tell you the biggest thing that both Markel Winters and Chuck Wiley brought to the table on Saturday is their play speed. I thought they both did a really, really good job of ball keying, getting off the ball, and reestablishing the line of scrimmage. And, doing the one thing that we talk about up front is, let's go play in enemy territory. Let's reestablish the line of scrimmage, and let's try and get offense off schedule on early downs. And as a result, you saw the sack numbers increase. And so their play speed was really good. It was really good to see Chuck go inside at 3 technique. And it was a couple of times, and he just got his hands on the guard and took him back to the lap of the quarterback. So their play speed was really good to see, and we're going to thrive on that. We're going to encourage them to show that more often.
Is that something that you were seeing from them in practice or that you were expecting on Saturday?
Well, we looked at the practice video, and the one thing that we talked about, let's get off the ball more, and let's reestablish the line of scrimmage in the backfield. And Coach Roach, the D-line coach, did a good job all week of drilling the guys, put them in that situation so they'll be game ready. So it was good to see him get those guys ready to play. The guys responded, and it paid huge dividends in terms of the throw game.
What's your assessment of Jacquez for through 4 games so far?
Well, he's still learning. We're very, very glad that we have Jacquez Jones, as a linebacker here at Ole Miss. And as we said earlier, anytime you have a young football player, there are going to be some growing pains. But Jacquez is a very positive young man, has a tremendous work ethic. He comes to work with the same attitude, looking to get better, always asking questions. And so we look forward to him to continue to get better. And so the one thing that he does bring to the table is that, he understands the defense a lot more every single day. He comes in with the mindset that he's willing to learn. And so when he comes and brings that to the table, it's really good to see him go out and play. And he reminded me on Sunday, he said, don't forget about putting my physical play up on the defensive reel. And we was on the linebackers about making sure we run the middle in the passing game. And there was one time he dropped in the middle, and he was threatening my vertical route, and a really good collision. So it's good to see him grow in those situations. And when you're showing the positive plays over and over again, he'll get better and better.
If you would, Wesley, comment on your other 2 true freshmen who are also playing key roles defensively. And I know you guys are committed to playing these young players, but is it hard for you guys as coaches to watch them play through mistakes? Is it a temptation to go back to more experienced players?
Well, it's always a challenge coaching when you have young guys out and they're going to make mistakes. You try to coach them through them. You wish they would make mistakes, but it's growing pains. You're on a big stage. You're in the SEC West, but they've been doing the good job of going and playing the next play. And like Kedron, he was on a bad end of play on Saturday, but he had the right mindset. Coach Jones and Coach Clark, coached him through it, and he went on to play the next play. And I want to say 2 or 3 plays after giving up a play, he had a tackle for a loss. And so when he came to the sideline, we spent more time talking about the tackle for a loss than the previous play. So that was really good to see him bounce back with that. But you're right. It's going to be some growing pains, and we have to remind ourselves that as coaches and not try to get them out of the game fast and let them grow through it and continue to go. Well, his Ruggs, I'll tell you what, he's a guy that's got excellent play speed. That young man can run all day. And, he's going to run all over the field, and he will run and hit. And that's one quality you have to be a good defensive player. And you can see daily improvement in Cavante Ruggs in terms of learning his assignment and mastering his assignment. But the biggest asset for him is his teammates. His teammates encouraging him and correcting him when he do things wrong. And Coach Summerall is doing a good job of spending some one-on-one time with him. So he's coming along and making a lot of progress. And another thing about Cavante Ruggs, he does his job with a smile on his face. And when you do that, you're very, very easy to coach.
Wesley, just your thoughts on the LSU ground game and in particular quarterback Joe Burrow.
Well, I tell you, they have a really, really strong ground game in terms of LSU. I think they have two really good running backs. The running backs are very tough runners. They're not going to go down with an arm tackle, have really great vision. If we overstretch in the defense, they'll cut it back to get significant yards. So they have two good running backs in their arsenal. The quarterback, I think, does a tremendous job of managing the offense, make really, really good decisions. He throws a really good vertical ball. They'll throw the ball vertical early and often to make sure you stay honest. So we have to do a good job of making sure we show up in the run game. They'll go from 11 personnel to 12 personnel, and they'll try to get the ball downhill. And so we have to make sure that we fit the running backs up and not arm tackle, because they'll run right through the arm tackle. We've got to do a good job of tearing off blocks, and we have to do a good job of up front, reestablishing line of scrimmage and making them cut and not let them have any direct runs. So it'll be a challenge for us to stop two good running backs on Saturday night.
Just a little insight on how Tisdale's moved inside to a defensive tackle.
So we have a handful of guys that's really doing a good job of being versatile for us, and especially when we have limited personnel. And as you just mentioned, Tisdale, one game he'll play outside, next minute he'll go inside, and it's a challenge for him in terms of learning curve. But he's embraced it. He's embraced it. There was a couple snaps where in the game plan he should have just got off the ball and went vertical, but you can see him processing. But he has the right attitude, and of course he's got ideal size for the position. And when he came over on Sunday, he knew his mistakes before we even approached him, because he walked up to me and said, "Coach, I know A, B, and C." I said, "Yeah, let's get better on that this week." So he has the right attitude, and he's an asset for us because he can go inside and outside. So we're very fortunate to have him not only here but with the right attitude.